Alright guys, so I'm here with CJ in his 1995 Honda Civic, and there's so much details in the car that I'm gonna let CJ explain it because he probably do a better job. From what I see, all I see is a motor sticking out of the engine bay. So CJ, thanks for coming up to the vlog.
I got the car maybe like 4.5, 5 years. It was, I think, 2018, 2019, I think it was. It was nothing like this, obviously. I got it completely bone stock, the stock single cam, it passed smog, everything. It was still left-hand drive, so it was completely stock. There was nothing done to it at all. Stock hubcaps, everything. It was all original, whole car. And that's when you can pick up the cars for a relatively good deal because I only paid $500 for the car. And the EX model too at that, so. And then, I mean, they took pretty good care of the car for what it was, for being a beach car and being on close to the ocean and not having any rust or anything like that, nothing major. So
now with these prices on these cars, even as a beat up one, you're looking at $6,000 to $7,000, $8,000 as of today.
My first car was actually a 95, I think it was. I can't remember the year. It was so long ago, and I've had a couple of them. It was a 95 Accord CD5. So, and then that was my first one. I put an F20B in there from the single cam that I had in there. That's when they were actually reasonable to get the swaps as well too. I got that one from JDM of California, I think it was. Mainly probably the hardest part about the whole car was maybe just the conversion, doing it the right way, having everything working correctly, all electrical, the door panels or the SIR ones, everything works as a right-hand drive car should work. So that was probably the most hardest task on getting everything to work correctly. The sunroof, all the lights on the inside, the whole harness. It's actually a hatch clip, and then I had to wire the whole back half of the car. So that was probably the hardest part about everything. Other than that, the J-swaps are so simple to do. Everybody over exaggerates them on how to do them, but they're really not that hard. Everything's all bolted in. And there's so many parts now that are coming out from so many companies, from P2R, there's Halferland, there's so many companies, so it's just so easy to do a J-swap now. Everybody just overcomplicates it.
So what inspired you to do the J-swap?
Actually, one of my buddies that I learned from working on the J-swaps first was Mike. I'm pretty sure you've seen his car from back in the day. It was a right-hand drive CB7 J-swap. I was hanging around him a lot. I picked up on the J-swaps. I fell in love with them, of the torque, the horsepower, and everything like that. So just being stock too. He was on a stock ECU with, at one point we put a 150 shot out on it on the stock ECU, and it still took it. And my other Accord that I had a 150 shot on a stock ECU. So the motors are just really good stock with the stock ECU and the stock harness and everything. So when he had his car, I took a lot of inspiration from him on doing the J-swaps, learning them, and that's what kind of got me in them, was him, because at the time I only had my I actually had my F20B in my white Accord. So
comparing to this swap to the K-swap, what's your take on that?
This is just a little bit, to me, cheaper because there's not too many people sought after them. I mean, K-swaps, there's so much people looking for the transmissions, the motors you can get just in the junkers just as much as these motors, the J-series, you can get them in the junkers too. Like this one I bought off of Facebook Marketplace for $100. So the transmissions are probably the only hard part to get about these cars. And then now there's so many harnesses and ECU. So to me, I think it's a little bit simpler than going to the K-swap, and it's a lot more fun out of the box. As for a K-swap, you have to do kind of a lot of stuff to, full bolt-ons, 85, and then at that you're like at 240, 250. Then you gotta drop some cams in there. I don't know too much about them, the K-swaps, so I mean, I know you got to do quite a bit of stuff to get to where I'm at. I should be like at 310, 315. I'm on a street tune from Darden at the moment, so I should be making like 310, 315, and that's just, I don't have anything crazy done. I just literally have 3.5 for Facebook Marketplace for $100.
Do you drive this car with no hood on? And you're like, yes, I do. And I'm like, whoa.
I think it was that show that I had met you at. On the way home, it started raining.
Oh.
So all I did was loosen this clamp and flip the intake backwards, and we drove home like that.
So it was going this way instead, huh?
Yeah, it was. So I mean, I don't even own a hood on this car. So.
Oh wow! When I saw you over there, I would think that you probably trailered it.
That's what everybody assumes too. I mean, just because how the motor's sticking up so much with CHP and everything. Yeah, I'll start right from the top. It's a stock intake manifold with the flange from a Mustang throttle body 90 mil.
Oh, okay.
Open V-stack. I mean, I just leave it like this. I drive it like this all the time.
Oh man, there's no shields in there.
No screen in there at all.
Aren't you afraid of rocks and whatever?
No.
Birds and Everything flies
Everybody
in.
always says, hey, you're gonna suck something in to mess up the motor. I'm like, dude, I drove the car in the rain. I've drove it all my J swaps like this literally for like 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer, like 6 years since my first J swap.
Don't be scared. Just do it, right?
Obviously, I mean, just stock automatic heads, some power coated valve covers, P2R, V1, the version 1 big tubes. I mean, that's basically a 2010 Honda Accord transmission inside of a first gen bell housing. I modified all of that to work in there because I know how to mess with the transmissions pretty well in them too. So, and then it is LSD because those don't come LSD. So I had to make the holes and everything work correctly for the differential and the ring gear and everything to work. So, but it is 2010 Honda Accord, so it does have the 355 final drive, which is a lot shorter than the other ones. And then, I mean, it's just a 3.5. You can see right here, J35A4 block. I mean, automatic heads. That's it. It's
so simple.
It's so simple. The headers are P2R version 1 big tubes. So these are like the first generation that Power 2 Rev Racing makes. These were the first ones that they made a long time ago. And I just like the way these sound more over the V2s. The V2s flow a lot more from what Sean was saying. But I just like the way that these ones sound a little bit better than those ones. So I just stuck to these ones instead of going to the version 2s.
I did notice that the radiator support right here is gone. And you,
yeah.
you made your own little... Is this custom made yourself or is it...
No, this is actually from a guy here local too in Bakersfield. Wally built. He was the first ones to start making these ones. And I had followed him on Instagram for a while and I seen him post one. Stock one covers all this, literally everything right here. So I seen how much room it frees up and it just looks a lot better. So
yeah, it looks very beautiful.
And then
you see everything here.
Yeah, the fit and finish is just really good. I mean, everything fits perfectly fine. And then everybody think it would be flimsy, but
it's actually really strong.
It's really strong. It moves the whole entire car, so it's not flimsy. It's really strong. The radiator too, I do have the tabs on the bottom as well, so it does look like it's kind of like floating in a way.
Oh yeah, and you even got the old school headlights that everybody wants. Everybody wants now. Back in the days, we didn't want those. Now, it's like
those are my favorite thing. As soon as I saw them, I was like, yeah, I gotta get those.
And what kind of lip is right here? Is on the
This is the Phantom Composites lip. I can't remember how much it was, but I mean, this is like, it's one of the best lips that I've ever had. It's real carbon fiber. Even on the bottom, it's layered. All the other carbon fiber lips I've ever seen is just literally just layered carbon on top, but this is like real carbon fiber top and bottom, and it fits so good. And then the bumper is a Sargent RD. I picked that one up maybe like a year ago. I changed the bumper because I just always had a stock bumper. All the bolts in the engine bay, all of these, all of them are all titanium from G Development too.
All the details.
Yeah, all the bolts, all of them are all G Development titanium. The engine bay is fully shaved and tucked as well too. I was gonna do just a regular black to match the body of the car, but the guy I dropped it off to in Oxnard, Weddell, him and his, I think it was brother-in-law, they were like, hey, let's do like a nice blue flake, and I was just like, oh man, like I don't know. I just really wanted to match the car, and they're like, oh no, just trust me, and they showed me.
Just trust me, you'll be fine.
Like a little test piece that they did, and I was just like, you know what, it's pretty nice. I was like, you know what, go for it. So they did the body work, I did the shaving and tucking. Me and my buddy Alan did the shaving and tucking, and then they did all the body work, paint and everything. So that's why. And the sun, it's really, really nice to where you can see a lot of this nice flake and everything. So
yeah, even right here, right now, I can see the flake, but it's not as strong as if it's in the sun.
Yeah, and in the shows and the indoor shows with all the lighting, it's really, really nice. So.
Did you have carbon fiber door when I first met you? Or?
No, I had regular doors.
It was just door, huh?
Yeah, it was just my original OG doors.
That's what I was wondering. It looks different now because of that.
Now it has carbon doors. So those are
cool.
Cybon carbon doors. They fit really good. They work really good. They have the provisions for the windows and everything to work. The mirrors, everything was there.
I didn't know your side mirrors are folded in. Is that auto or?
They're automatic. They're not automatic. They're the JDM power folding mirrors too. So since it's the right-hand drive clip, everything was there for it. I had to source those separately, but I mean they work and everything. They open and close. They got the Spoon Sport lenses on them as well too. So seats are the DC5, and then I made the custom rails from the stock G rail, so that way you can actually slide forward and back, because usually you just buy the brackets to where they're just mounted in one spot. But I like being able to, you know, move the adjustments and everything like that.
And how about the dash? Was it pretty hard to convert it?
No, I mean, just a firewall swap is just like a traditional firewall swap that you just do, because I mean the car is obviously not a real right-hand drive. It is converted, so it's just traditional right-hand drive conversion, how you have to sit there and cut all the spot welds, cut some of the pieces off, and then fit this one back in there. It's really time consuming, and then if you want, you have to literally sit there for maybe like a good hour and a half and line everything up, get the windshield wiper count and everything to line up perfectly, because if not, then none of that's going to line up or work. The dash too, like everything has to line up perfectly.
What made you decide to go with a full trunk carbon fiber?
This one, I've just, from back in the day, I mean, I remember just growing up and then going to car shows every once in a while and then just learning about them on the forums. I seen this one and I love how it has the duck bill built into it. So I went with this one. I had a regular carbon fiber trunk, just a regular traditional one. And then I seen this one on Facebook Marketplace and I ended up going for this one just because how it has that duck bill at the end. That was my favorite part. It's a VIS. It's old school.
That's the old school logo that we used to pay hella money for.
Yeah, that's really old school.
So let me guess, Tanabe? No?
It's a Vibrant.
Vibrant? That's old school right there.
Yeah, that's old school. It's in the import. So I mean, I like the way it sounded. I forgot whose car I heard it, and I was just like, what muffler do you have on there? It's just, I just have a Vibrant muffler.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, then, I mean. The steering wheel, G Development was selling it at their booth. I think like I'm saying, a USDM meet. I can't remember exactly which event it was, but he went over there and bought some lower control arm bolts from them, and he seen the steering wheel. And at the time, I just had a stock SIR steering wheel. And he came back to where we're all sitting down, and he was just like, "Hey man, they have this nice steering wheel over there. It's a Momo. It's like a limited edition one or something like that." And he was like, "You should go look at it and check it out." He's like, "It'll look nice in your car. It's black. It's just all black." He was like, "The stitching's black, everything." So that's when I went over there. I looked at it. It was like, oh, man, it was like $300 or $400. And I was just like, I was like, damn, that's a lot. And they're G Development, the guys were there talking to me, and they're just like, yeah, this is a limited edition one. It's the prototypo or something like that. There's only certain ones. It's all black. There's no different color in the stitching or anything like that. So
got you, huh?
Yeah. He sold me on that. And then my buddy who told me to get it, I'm glad I got it because he ended up passing away. So that steering wheel is never gonna leave this car or any of my cars. So it has some sentimental value for that steering wheel, because I mean, he was just like, hey man, you should go get that steering wheel for your car. It looked nice.
So it's meant to be there.
Yeah, it was meant to be, and it's not gonna go nowhere. So.
That's cool. I think with your car, the biggest fear is somebody messing with the wires. Maybe like just taking a scissor and cutting it, or
that's one of my worst fears.
Pulling the spark plugs out. Whatever, you know.
Because I mean, I do drive the car around town. So like, if I go to the gas station, I go inside, or I go to the parts store, or I'll go inside, or go inside the grocery store real quick. I mean, my worst fear is just coming out and they unplugged something, or they took something. They took the oil cap. That's one of my worst fears.
Yeah.
I mean, just something small, especially not having a hood. So I mean, they could just walk up and mess with something, take something. So that's probably the worst part about not having a hood at all.
So what's your 1 or 2 advice for people that are looking to do a J-swap?
First advice for trying to go J-swap, probably get the harness and ECU right away first. Motors you can get off Facebook Marketplace for $100, $200. Transmission, same thing. Obviously not the same price, but you can get them upwards of like $600-700 for the transmissions. And then transmissions on these are pretty good. So the most expensive part is literally the harness and ECU on these cars. PJ makes really, really good harnesses. They're complete plug and play. They plug it literally to the inner dash. So they come at a price. They are pricey, but they're really good, literally plug and play. There's no problem with that. I've had this one on the car for 2.5-3 years now. I have not had one problem of a wire, anything like that. So, and then the ECU, they are kind of hard to get ECUs. You either have to go to Fuel Tech or Haltech now, or going to stock ECU with the Flash Pro. I've seen some people do the Flash Pro with the TL type SECUs. It's kind of complicated, that setup, but maybe the harness and ECU, if you want to go J-swap, is the first thing I'd start looking into getting, because that's the most complicated part. Yeah, give a shout out to Mike, right hand drive Mike with the CB7 J-swap. A lot of people probably know him from back in the day. he really helped me out, and he got me to where I am now with the J swaps. If it wasn't for him, I mean, I don't think I would have been into the J swaps. So a shout out to my really, really close friend, like my brother, literally, my brother Emmanuel. He helped me with literally anything. I call him and, hey, we're gonna let's take the motor out, or like a day before. I'm pretty sure you've heard of the Winnie Fest shows. The day before, me, him, and my buddy Drew, all my closest friends, we literally pulled my whole motor out, rebuilt one, took parts from different motors that I had sitting there that I've blown up from back in the day, so put them back together. So Drew and Emmanuel, some of my closest friends, I mean, shout out to them. No matter what, like, I can call them and ask them for anything, for help on my car or advice or anything like that, and they're just there for me no matter what. And a shout out to ACT Clutch, Advanced Clutch Technology, and then another shout out to, I mean, you're my girl, so
Can't forget those.
No, never. They're the most important one, with letting you spend so much money and time and headaches and trying to figure stuff out. So they're the ones that deal with all of it the most. So big shout out to my girl, always just being there for me no matter what for my car.
That was super fun, bro. All right, guys, so I want to thank you guys for watching the vlogs today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's CJ's Honda Civic with the J swap. Hopefully you learned something. And also, if you have any questions, can people message you?
Yeah, take a message on Instagram. It's Mr._Gallardo. A lot of people message me with J swap questions. I mean, I respond back to everybody. I mean, if you have, whether it's the simplest question to the most complicated one regarding J series, or even just help on regular cars too. I mean, just even your regular Pilot or something SUV, I help out with no matter what. So
okay, sounds
I mean,
good.
it's always nice to help everyone out. So when it comes to anything.
There you have it, folks. So this is the guy to ask question if you are interested in the J swap as well. Thank you guys for watching the vlog, and I'll catch you guys next time.